Hello, I'm Elle Edwards, the Mindset Geek from GoToElle.com, and welcome back. Now, this is week 3 of a 4.5-week focus in October on your big project. And yes, we've been talking about it within the context of writing because November is NaNoWriMo. So in week 1, quick recap for you. In week 1, we dealt with some big questions to help you show up and do the work. Week 2, last week, we dealt with planning. Now, it wasn't your regular like how to plan advice. It was planning using the context of your brain, how to get your brain to help you with the planning process. Now, week 3 is all about the messy middle. Now, what do I mean by the messy middle? Okay, maybe you've had this experience. You know, when you decided to write a book and you started planning and then you start writing and it's new and exciting and you're raring to go. That will be you the first few days in November if you decide to write your book as part of NaNoWriMo. That will be the first few days and you'll be raring to go and it will be amazing and the best thing ever and you'll be so glad that you did it. And then about 4 days in, maybe 7 or 8 days in, if you're very lucky, you'll be like, oh, why did I do this? What is the point? Because the excitement is gone. It's not new and shiny and exciting anymore. And the end is not in sight. You are stuck in the messy middle. Now, the messy middle is a real thing. It happens in any big project because if you're going to do something big, you've got to have a start, a middle and an ending. I mean, all projects have a start, a middle and an ending. It's only those bigger projects where that messy middle can feel more acute. If you're doing a really quick, short project, your beginning, your middle and your end all happen on the same day. So you haven't got time to get stuck. Those bigger projects, that messy middle, it is a bit of a big deal. Or it's as much of a big deal as you let it be. Because remember what we talked about in week 1, the stories that you tell yourself. So, in a bid to get you prepped and ready for that messy middle and to get these resources here for you, talking about it beforehand, all this week we are going to be thinking about that messy middle, helping you prepare for it. And maybe every now and again I will remind you that the messy middle only has to be as messy and as difficult as you decide it will be. I'm just putting that out there ahead of time. But today, my biggest piece of advice, and I've already alluded to this in the Mindset Minute, but my big piece of advice during that messy middle is to encourage you and remind you to keep on keeping on. Now, apparently on the internet these days, it's not the done thing to quote Winston Churchill because there's lots of people who don't really like some of his political choices that he made, and there's other people who then don't like you criticising Winston Churchill because he's a hero. So where you're kind of damned either way. However, he is the one who made that expression, keep buggering on, famous. And it's been used in Doctor Who. So let's pretend we're quoting from Doctor Who instead of Winston Churchill. If you're one of those people watching or listening to this and you get offended by people quoting Winston Churchill, I didn't quote Winston Churchill. Keep buggering on. We mentioned Doctor Who instead. It's all good. Phew! Dodge that bullet. But actually, it's really good advice. I mean, sure, there are times when you need to quit. There are times when you need to stop. That is not what we're talking about today. When it comes to the messy middle, you need to keep on keeping on. Those voices in your head that will tell you that everything you are writing is rubbish, all of the criticism, all of the doubt, all of the phrases that will make you go and doubt yourself. You need to do your best to love them, thank your brain, and then ignore them and keep on keeping on. Because that is the way that we get any project done. Big projects are not done with big, exciting goals. I've said this before. Yes, okay, if we're excited and raring to go, it can get us out of bed in the morning. But it's actually daily, consistent action is how you get anything done in life. And sure, big goals are amazing until they paralyze you. But if you're going to get this book written, when you get this book written, you are going to get this book written, or whatever project you're focusing on, because I want to make sure I keep this relevant to anybody who has a big project to work on. Whatever that thing is that you are working on, it will get done baby steps, one action at a time, showing up, repeated, consistent daily action over time. That's the only way to get it done. And I know in previous episodes I've told you about how I think it was 3/4 of Beverly I wrote in about 2 or 3 weeks. Yes, I did do that. And guess what? I still had to show up every single day, even though it was a a tight time frame, and there was a lot of writing on those days, I still had to show up every single day. And the same is true for you. So as you get prepped and ready and start considering what it's going to look like next month, I want to warn you ahead of time. There will be occasions when you want to stop. There will be occasions when you want to quit. I'm here today to remind you, keep on keeping on. And we are going to dig into more of this and some more strategies, things that you can do ahead of time to prepare you, to help you keep on keeping on. But I'm breaking this up into little small daily chunks, a bit like how you're going to get your goal done. I could, verbally vomit all over you and give you a whole month's worth of content in one day, but then you'd be completely exhausted, and I would be too. It's much more valuable to give this to you in little bite-sized chunks, just like your writing project. Okay, so my reminder for today, keep on keeping on. And of course, I need to remind you, if you are excited to get your book written, whether it's a business book or a non-fiction book, in November, there is still time for you to join us in the group version of Rent-A-Boss. I'm really excited about it. If that feels like a good fit for you, go to rentaboss.uk to find out more and join us. There's just 30 spaces available. Well, less than 30 now, but 30 was the maximum. So don't miss out. If it feels like a good fit, come and join us. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Smile. Have yourself a delightful day. I've been Elle from GoToElle.com. Take care. Bye-bye.